Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Understanding Hinduism for Christians and Muslims. Well, I'm neither one of those, but I'm all for understanding Hinduism, so let's go ahead and give this video a shot.
You see, the first thing that people find confusing about Hindu religion is that they visit a temple and they want to try and kind of see if they can feel comfortable with this kind of exotic religion. So they visit a temple, and the first thing they notice is so many gods and goddesses, weird looking faces, some with elephant features, and they will keep quiet and appear very sober and say, oh, this is religion, this is Hinduism. They can't ask questions. They might offend the priest or something. But with me, anything goes, and you can ask me pointed questions. Now, first of all, this is the first problem that arises. And the way you address this issue is this. In order for you to come to terms with Hinduism, you must remove the Abrahamic goggles that you wear when you view all faiths. You see, most of you would be coming from the Abrahamic traditions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and you've got a particular worldview regarding what religions are all about. And it's mostly monotheistic worldview. So as soon as you come near Hinduism, it will immediately feel so different, if I can use the kind of kinder word, that it will really kind of put you back. It might shock you even. So it's necessary to immediately address the first feature of Hinduism that sometimes offends people, sometimes puzzles people and confuses them as well, including the Hindus. So is Hinduism, the first question that hits you, is Hinduism a polytheist religion? Belief in so many almighty gods and goddesses, because you see them in every temple, so many different images and people bowing down to each and every image. And if you ask them, is anyone superior than the other one? They say, no, they're equally superior. A whole lot of them, yes, the whole lot of them, they're equally superior. The ultimate, yes, they're ultimate. How can you have so many ultimates? This means you are not ultimate enough. This can't be right. Surely, this seems weird. Appears like a naive polytheist religion. This is the first impression anybody from the Abrahamic tradition will have, and I understand. Most Hindus themselves are confused about it. Are we a polytheist religion? A kind of naive tradition, kind of recognizing the idea of religion in variety different ways and different godheads. Let me remove this misconception immediately.
I would say, for me, I did think that way. I thought, they believe in many gods, so therefore they're polytheistic, meaning believe in many gods.
This religion that we come from has never been a polytheist religion, despite appearances. It has always been a grand, pluralistic tradition. This is a magic-like word that we can introduce in the RE syllabus now. It has always been a pluralistic tradition. What's the difference? We are not saying many gods. We are saying many ways to God. There's a big difference between many gods and many ways to God. We extend this when we do A-level and further kind of advanced studies of Hinduism. We extend the idea, say not even many ways to God, many ways for making spiritual progress. We really extend it. We show the breadth of vision of this religion. Not only many ways to relate to the idea of God, but many ways to become spiritual. The Hindu religion recognizes that you can be spiritual or invoke spirituality in your life using a monotheistic mold, if you like the monotheist tradition, idea of a super personality called God, and you relate to it, and by relating to this super personality, you invoke spirituality in your own life. Marvelous way of making spiritual progress. Monotheist tradition. Hinduism recognizes that. Hinduism says this is not the only way, don't you see? Spiritual progress is also possible in a non-theistic mode, without reference to a theos. This is again central in the Hindu tradition. You can be spiritual, you can make spiritual progress without a reference to a god. And people shudder. How can it be? We never heard stuff like that. Buddhism, if you like, one of these branches of Hinduism that talks of spirituality, a major important discipline, without a reference to a theos.
Also, that was very surprising, honestly, to me. This is one reason why I do like Hinduism, is because there are many ways to spiritual growth, you could say. I say spiritual is kind of a bit of a weird word, because spirit also has a very deep-rooted meaning in the West. But let's say many ways to enlightenment. I like that a lot better. Whether it be through a super, what did it say? Super, or just a god, or through self-realization.
Non-theistic Hinduism accepted. We don't stop there. This is the part where we really kind of do extremely well in modern society. The third approach we say is possible to make spiritual progress is in a non-religious guise, without even ticking your name against any religion. He said, how can that be? This is too much. This is too broad. You see, we say every discipline, human endeavor, whether it's in the field of art, music, dance, drama, poetry, literature, why do you love it? Why do youngsters love it? And knowingly or unknowingly, they are tapping into their spiritual dimension. When you say, I love art, I love music, I love poetry, why does it give you a thrill? Without recognizing, without realizing, you are unfolding spiritually in a non-religious guise. Hinduism allows for that. That is why music and art and dance will be incorporated in the way Hinduism comes across. They enjoy this idea of using these various different tools for spiritual progress. So you've got three major approaches in Hindu tradition. Now see, I've just kind of given you kind of very tangential, exotic Hindu vision, wide vision. You must say, Mr. Lakhani, we are primary school teacher. Come down to ground level, talk at our level. What do you mean by pluralism? How do we put this idea across to little children who are 6, 7-year-old? Let me tell you how easy it is. I do this all the time. I go to many Christian schools. They invite me to do assemblies. In fact, tomorrow morning, Newbury School, I'll be talking to 300 primary school children in the morning, first thing. And they'll be sitting cross-legged. Okay, Mr. Lakhani, what is Hinduism? Tell us about it. So I will say, do you like to think of God like your Father in heaven? Of course, all the Christian children will go, yes. What a marvelous idea. I said, that's a good idea. Many Hindus like to relate to the ultimate reality like a super personality, like a male father figure. Nothing wrong with that. It's a marvelous idea. We like it. Many Hindus like it. But there's always one little boy in the corner who keeps tugging my sleeve saying, no, I don't want God to be my daddy. Why not? Why can't God be your daddy in heaven? This is one of the reasons. Anybody else want to save embarrassment? You can switch off now. So the child says, I don't want God to be my daddy in heaven. So why not? Such a marvelous idea. Look, I'm showing you pluralism at the children's level. This exotic idea, this esoteric idea, presented in a childlike manner. You see how easy it is to put it across. The little boy said, no, I don't want God to be my daddy. So why not? Good idea, God, your daddy in heaven. What's wrong with, no, I don't want God to be my... What's your problem? Well, last night when I was having supper, some food fell from the table on the floor. And my daddy came waving his finger. Naughty boy, no supper, no TV, go to your room. And I was crying. And my mommy came in the room and she saw me crying. And my mommy said, come here, my baby. And she gave me a hug. And she gave me a jam donut. The little boy said, why can't I think of God like my mommy in heaven? Daddies are so rough and tough and so hairy. Why can't I think of God like my mommy in heaven? They're kind and cuddly and hopefully less hairy than daddies. Ah, said the Hindu, you like to think God like your mommy in heaven. My boy, go for it. God is your mommy in heaven. This is called pluralism. Same ultimate, thought of differently. Why differently? We have different, if you like, tendencies, inner structure. And the way we relate to spirituality will reflect our own inner makeup. So this boy prefers the idea of a mother rather than a father figure. This is what pluralism is all about. As we are different, the way we relate to the idea of the spirit, it's an abstract concept in theological terms, is by coloring it in the colors that we possess ourselves. We can't help ourselves. We will do it.
Also, that's a very good way to look at it too. Is the fact that it's kind of interesting that Abrahamic religions see their deities as only ever one shape, and that's it. Like they restrict their own deity, say, nope, you can only look like this. Which then it's kind of weird. It's like, who has the power here at this point? So this is, again, another interesting thing that I like about Hinduism is the sheer fact that it's very true that, obviously, if there is such a deity out there, it'll present this way in any way, shape, and form that's appealing to you or that you like, that gives you comfort and security. Why is it only ever one shape? It could be a dog. your pet that you lost, maybe,
We cannot jump out of ourselves and relate to the absolute. We will use our relative frame to relate to the absolute. We cannot do otherwise. Nobody can do otherwise. This is the importance of pluralism. Pluralism. What a sweet nectar-like word. This is why the Hindus, you may think the Hindus perhaps don't know the word. You ask any Hindu, they'll say, one God, different name and different form. They'll tell you like that. They know it. It's in the system. Pluralism is ingrained in the Hindu. Why is this so important? Why is it so relevant? If you take a Hindu to a Christian church or any other place of worship, he doesn't feel compromised, he doesn't feel worried. He'll take his shoes off saying, yes, this is a place of worship, take your shoes off. He immediately places those venues as sacred places. He values them straight away. He relates to them very easily without any compromise. He doesn't feel compromised. He says these are different ways different people relate to God. These Christian people like to think of God in this particular manner. Oh, what a marvelous idea. That's why they are not worried when they interact with people of other religion. Pluralism gives them that freedom to interact without compromise, without patronizing, in a very comfortable manner. There's a second aspect to pluralism which I think should enter the religious education system, and I'm one of the directors of Religious Education Council of England and Wales. I just finished a meeting this afternoon there. And this is the new idea I'm plugging in very strongly, and you'll find it in the new syllabus. They will insist on the idea of community cohesion. Use religion for community. You say, well, how can you do community cohesion in St. Mark's Gospel? How can you plug it in like that? And they're struggling. I said, look, borrow from Hinduism. It's all ready-made for you. I tell you how it's ready-made. Another little metaphor. Metaphors. Hindus are very good at storytelling. That's why the books are full of colorful stories. This was a commercial break, by the way. So why this idea is so crucial in the world that we live in? Let me do another little story. You see the power of storytelling. Two boys playing football, best of friends, kicking the ball about. Suddenly the discussion starts, and once in a while they do talk as well. One boy says, my mom is best in the world. Normal stuff for any boy to claim. My mom is the best in the world, says one. Your mom is the best in the world? Huh. My mom is the best in the world. She cooks the best food. There is something very primitive about boys, mummies, and food. There's a linkage there. No, my mommy cooks the best food. Says, oh, your mommy cooks the best food. You brought those homemade cakes last week? They were like rocks. Your mom is rubbish. Tell any boy of any age, even the grown-up ones, that their mommy's food is not good. Problem. Boys being boys, they like to resolve differences physically. In no time, they're thumping each other, whacking each other. They both love their mommies. They're whacking each other, saying, I told you, mom. Okay, calm down. A wise man passing by says, what's your problem? I told him my mom is the best in the world. He's not. Why doesn't he agree? I'll hit him. Let me give you a resolution, says the wise man. Say with all the love and devotion you can muster. Don't hold anything back. My mom is best, but add two magic words at the end of your sentence. The boy said, what magic words?
For me?
Say with all the love and devotion, my mom is best for me. The boy said, that's exactly what we meant. My mommy doesn't even know this chap. My mommy is best for me. She's the best in the world for me. Therefore, the dispute is forgotten. They start playing football in two ticks. I wish this message would enter into the mainstream society. Let people of any different religion claim that their religion is best, but add those magic words at the end of the sentence. My religion is best for me and my people.
Yeah, absolutely freaking right there. And even just in normal society in general, where people are very arrogant or very, wanting to be high status, saying, I am the best, and no one else is. Not just for me, I'm for everyone. The best ever. It's we're losing. We are becoming so arrogant. And again, this is just mostly in the West, but amazingly, not so much in the East. But I think it's growing there, and it sucks. I think it has to deal with, again, with the things I've said before, which is the three essentials. Or if once those are taken care of, that's it. Shelter, water, and food. Once those are taken care of, that's it. Complain. They got 99 problems, as they say.
Once you're able to allow that, make that concession, that my mommy is best for me and your mommy is best for you. Don't impose each other's mommy on each other. The moment you can do that, what appears as a dividing line in society, division in the name of religion, immediately gets blunted forever, guaranteed. This is the marvelous thing that is coming out very naturally in the Hindu tradition, pluralism. Putting pluralism, the theory is marvelous because straight away every individual will realize this has got tremendous power. Different individuals will relate to the idea of spirituality in a highly individual manner, even in the same family. You'll find there's one thing, atheist, rubbish, God is rubbish. But it's let him unfold spiritual in the mode that suits him. Maybe just like science and music. Doesn't like to take his name. Let him be. This is what pluralism allows. Why do we have 190 denominations in Christianity? It's a reflection of pluralism. See, even in the same intra-religious dialogue, pluralism is a very powerful tool. Otherwise, you have infighting between different groups in the same religion. Pluralism, if you like, gives this marvelous prescription of how different groups in the same religion can coexist without feeling worried, and how people of different religions can coexist without feeling compromised. They don't have to water down their faith. Nobody says my mom is any less important. But he just says, for me, it suits my digestion, my requirement. This is all that is required. That is why in modern society, this lovely magical word, pluralism, is so crucial. Serious dialogue is taking place at theological level, and I'm really at the cutting edge of this. We are setting up something at Eton College called the Dhoni Project, where we say no longer this issue of side by side, we say face to face. Let us dig deeply within our own tradition and come to a better understanding of people of other religion as well as people of no religion. This demarcation that we have, the people of belief and people of no belief, this demarcation that we have set up is very damaging. Vast number of youth that I go to, for example, I did a session at the Hitchin Girls' School last month, about 200 girls there. And the first question I asked the girls, how many are devout Christians here? It's a strongly Christian school. How many devout Christians? Less than 5% put up their hands. I said, how many atheists? About 5% put their hands up. I said, how many agnostics? 50%. So you must recognize the world that we live in and what is the real issue. When they are not sure about religion, you cannot make them feel any less spiritual, as if they, separated from the rest of the community. Let them unfold spiritually in the way that suits them. This is the important teaching of pluralism. And I'm in fact, in the system, I'm called an evangelical pluralist. I'm insisting on pluralism. Leave us alone. We've got exclusivist view about God. Leave us alone. I say, okay. As long as you don't impose your view on others, you are fine. You can keep saying, my mom is best. No problem for us. But there's only when you start insisting your mom is best for everybody, trouble begins. So if you're able to isolate yourself and practice your religion with tremendous devotion, with this exclusivist ideology, carry on. But if you come into a public domain, then pluralism becomes crucial. That allows you to relate to other people in a very honest manner. I tell you why it's so important. The interfaith dialogue, and I'm sure many of you are involved in that, began with the word, learn to tolerate other religions, or people of other religion. It may sound, tolerate nice. No, it means I give you permission to exist. I know I'm right, you're rubbish, but I'm let you survive.
Interesting there, actually. Again, something that Osho says the terrible word is tolerate. I've said in the past, tolerate was a good thing. Not in the past in these videos, but in the past before watching this videos, especially before Osho, whenever he gave the word tolerate, it means I don't like you, but I'll allow you, which is terrible. And that's an interesting way to look at the word tolerate. But I'm kind of curious as to how he's going to go about this word tolerate, because this is something that, what is it? Now that I think about it, actually, I remember watching this one YouTube video where they had tolerance. I think it's called tolerance. Yeah, it was tolerance, but it's all the different religious symbols. And it's kind of funny. It's like, oh man, now that you know what tolerate is, it's kind of terrible. No, it's coexist as well, but there's also, I think, tolerance as well. But still,
it won't work. So the word tolerate has been slowly pushed aside. And a new word has appeared. It sounds very nice and rounded. Learn to respect. And this is standard RE methodology now. Respect people of other religion. You might think that's good enough. For a pluralist Hindu, it's not good enough. Because you see, you are still hiding. This is what you mean by respecting people of other religion. Because I interact at many levels in this field. Respect people of other religion means, nice person, I pat you on the back. You are nice. I know I am right and you are wrong, but I won't make a fuss about it here and now. You'll find out soon enough. This is what and this is hypocritical, if nothing else. You can't allow that. Why don't we extend the dialogue to say, accept there can be many pathways to God or many pathways to make spiritual progress. Accept. I don't have a monopoly. The Hindu doesn't have a monopoly. He doesn't claim any monopoly on spirituality. You see, the moment somebody says, I can encapsulate spirit in my own system, the potency of that particular system is demolished because it's been confined. It doesn't like to be confined, this thing called spirituality. It has to be vast. So this is the kind of deeper idea, deeper aspect of Hinduism, pluralism. What appeared as polytheism and confused religion, in fact, reflects pluralism. And this is the prescription for modern society, one aspect. Let me touch on some of the other aspects. Just say, Mr. Lakhani, we like your religion, we like this pluralism, sounds nice and exotic. Now, what about these animal faces? Now, are you worshipping animals? What about the holy cow? Why is this cow? Do you worship the cow? They ask me rudely, do you worship the cow? I say, have you seen a Hindu drag a cow into the temple and start worshipping it? We don't. We show respect to this animal. But why? Why do you call it holy cow and like a mother? What's going on here? Weird Hindus. Let me do another story, I say. Suppose I was taking a walk here outside, and I missed Mr. Smith taking his dog for a walk. And I said, Mr. Smith, what's the name of the dog? Oh, he's called Rover. How is he? How old is he? Oh, 13. It's very old for a dog. He won't live for long now. I know, I love Rover. There's a way you can make sure you can never separate it from Rover, Mr. Smith. What's the way? You will never be separated from him. That's a marvelous idea. What do I do? Now, I'll make you shudder, but it's deliberate. Have Rover for supper. Don't just sit across the table.
Oh.
Have him as supper. People, gosh, I'm telling you, I'm deliberately trying to make you shudder. Mr. Smith will lift his stick and chase me all around the park. I can't blame him. He said, Mr. Lakhani, don't you see, dog is man's best friend, or you don't eat your best friend. I said, this is the problem with the Hindus too. The only difference is they are claiming man's best friend is not the cat, not the dog, not the horse. It is the gentle animal that allowed mankind to settle down and become civilized for 10,000 years. And this gentle animal is the cow. So when you want to show respect into the animal kingdom, the candidate that we focus on is this gentle animal called the cow. You see why it's holy and why Hindu will not eat cow's meat. This is the reason behind it. The only drawback is you can't take the cow for a walk. That's what I
and this is my stand on that. It's the fact that, yeah, absolutely. You know, if you like, even in the United States, actually, pigs are sometimes pets, and they're also, I believe, what do you call it? They're animals that help. They're animals that also help disabled people as well, because I believe pigs are quite smart. I think they're probably smarter than dogs, I think. Again, I don't remember. I've heard somewhere that some time ago, but never really bothered looking it up. But they are smart, and they're comfort animals, emotional support animals, as they call them. And also, I believe they can help out people, like do certain things, open doors and stuff, I believe. I think I've even seen a donkey as one too, like a small one. But yes, I mean, like, for me, look, you know, if you like, I guess another thing that Westerners won't understand is like how there are certain cultures who eat dogs and cats. They're like, oh my gosh, you know, because in Western culture, dogs and cats are pets, not food. But for me, the way I look at it is like, look, as long as it's not someone's pet, I understand the reason for eating that, because sometimes that's the only thing available, and that's what's eaten. And the way I kind of explain this to them is like, again, what Lakhani here says is the fact that, now imagine if you saw cows as your pets, or your culture sees cows as pets, like a part of the family. You would not be eating cows. No one would. But you know, it's you kind of have to like what I call translate, so that so that it rings within them and they understand it. So again, when they see dogs as pet and they see dogs being eaten, they're like, oh my gosh, it's bad. It's like, well, kinda, but imagine you guys, like, do you eat pig, or do you eat cows, or do you eat chickens? Now imagine a culture where chickens and pigs and cows are all pets, and you're sitting there eating it. And how would you feel now? But it's a translation, so that hopefully that they can relate dogs and cows as similar. How would they feel about it, you know? Because they've experienced their dog as their pet, and they eat cows, and then imagine feeling your cows as a pet and eating dog. Something like that.
We'll take the chance. You see, I'm deliberately pulling out some of these features. So when you see all these animal faces and animal heads and animals associated with all the goddesses and goddesses, you say, what is this? Are you worshipping animals? No, no. We are extending the idea of reverence for life into the animal kingdom. The Hindus are saying we come out of that kingdom. We have no difficulty with evolution. So as we have come out from this, why should we just suddenly put a stop and say, only human kingdom, the rest of them, just crunch and munch on them? Extend the idea of reverence to the animal kingdom. So it is, if you like, our gesture of respecting, giving sacredness to all life. That is why you see all these animal faces appearing in the stories and getting mixed up. That is the background to why. There's another idea many people shudder with. They say, Mr. Lakhani, so far so good, okay, we can play along with you and go along with you. But how can the infinite God become finite? This is terrible. Infinite must be left as infinite. You can't reduce him into images and just dress them up and say, this is God here. This is, come on, that's an image. This is terrible. You know, we like, in fact, I have a problem. You know, sometimes I get some Jewish colleagues who visit the Eastern Temple with me. They say, Jay, we'll visit you, we'll talk to you, we'll do everything, you know, you have your feasting and everything, but don't take us near those images. Because we've been told, thou shalt not make graven images of thy God. We can't violate that law. This is our problem. I say, let me tell you how to get around this. You see, the Hindus know these are finite images of some infinite idea. But we are not apologetic about using finite images to relate to the infinite. We are not apologetic at all. In fact, the word we use to define an image of God is murti. That's part of your syllabus, murti, or pratima. That means, it literally means giving material form to some infinite idea, giving material form to the spirit. We know we do it in a very knowing manner, that we are reducing the infinite into finite so we can relate to it. You say, no, it's still not good enough. I say in every field, every religion will use some kind of imagery, some kind of finite forms to relate to the infinite. Everywhere, every religion. Forget about religion. Every other important discipline mankind kind of uses, let's say mathematics. We do that all the time. You can't do mathematics without this chap called infinite. You know, you can't stop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finish. It goes on. Billion, no, trillion, no. Where does it stop? Oh, it's called infinite. Oh, marvelous. If I tell a youngster, can you put infinite on the board here? The youngster will immediately go there, go to the blackboard, and put a little mark there saying, this is infinite. So if you are doing mathematics, a youngster will happily go along on the blackboard and put a little mark, little twiddle, saying, that's infinite. And of course I can challenge him. I say, that's not infinite. That's number 8. That is too much to drink last night. That's certainly not infinite. That's finite. That's fallen over. Oh dear. No, that's infinite. See? Suppose you didn't have that twiddle. You can't do your stuff. You can't do these progressions. Nothing can have. No mathematics is possible without that little twiddle. You say the same way. This infinite God that we've been talking about, in order for our finite minds to get around it, we use finite imagery. And we are not apologizing for it. This is unique to us. It is our special tool. We use it happily. That's why all these colorful gods and goddesses in the temple, we feel comfortable. Different Hindus, you should see this. If you go to a temple, a temple which is really kind of, with, you know, big congregation of devout people, at certain times they will remove the curtains, draw the curtains to show the deity. The moment they do it, you should visit some of these temples. The audience goes, you can feel it. You see, this tool works for these people. So who are we to say you shouldn't do that? It raises them. It makes them feel they're in front of the infinite. Again, check out any person coming out of the temple. When he comes out, say, what did you do in the temple? Did you fold your hand and say, oh, marble, I love you. Oh, piece of wood, you are so lovely. Do you do that? No, that's called idolatry. We don't worship objects. We use objects to worship the infinite God. And we don't apologize for that. We are not idolatrous.
Don't some Abrahamic religions use certain objects, kind of like Christianity uses the cross, with usually either just cross or Jesus on the cross? I mean, they use that as an object to communicate perhaps to God or to Jesus, or use it as a as something to worship. I'm not exactly sure. Again, they use that as like a warding of a protection of evil spirits and stuff. Of vampires. But yeah, they use items too. I guess I would use that as like, don't you have a cross that you use? Do you not talk to it sometimes? Do you not hold it thinking it has power and a way to communicate to the infinite? You're using that cross as a communication device in some degrees. Hello, you there? But you get what I'm saying. So it's very similar to how I assume Hinduism does it. They use the objects as a means of, it's not a genuine true means, like you don't need that object, I don't believe, to communicate. You're always attached there, but it helps people visualize and concentrate and focus, much like even in Abrahamic religions with the cross and whatever else they use.
Recognizing our human limitation and trying to relate to the infinite using finite tools.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you see, these are serious issues like polytheism, idolatrous, animal faces. In just a few minutes, I hope I really tidied up lots of issues and suddenly shown this religion that it is not some naive religion. Just sometimes, the way you criticize religion, say, this Hinduism, because there are so many weird ideas in it, surely it's not even a structured religion, it's just a way of life. When you ask the Hindus, they'll say, yes, we are a way of life. They don't know what they're saying. By saying that you are a way of life, you're saying you are just a cultural phenomena. There's no religion behind you. You're just Morris dancing Indian style.
I see it as a way of life. Religion itself is a way of life because you practice a particular method, so it's a way of life in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with saying it's a way of life. That to me that's more relatable than saying it's a religion or non-religion. Well, than saying it's a religion. Saying it's a non-religion is a different story for me. But just to say that a way of life is whether it's religious or not, but it's how you practice the life, whether it's be through bhakti yoga, devotion to God, or karma, jnana, and raja yoga. Just a way of life to. Again, I won't say necessarily to make you enlightened, because not everyone becomes enlightened, but at least it helps your life become better.
Yes, we are certainly not that. We are a very mature, very ancient school of thought that has thought about spirituality in a vast number of different ways and managed to reconcile all of them. So I'm just taking you on a journey of Hinduism, showing you some of the key features of Hinduism. There's one other aspect of Hinduism. So the idea of religious pluralism, using imagery, nothing to apologize about. The third aspect of Hinduism that actually steals my heart and makes me such a devout Hindu is this. I told you, in the Hindu tradition, you can make spiritual progress in a theistic mode or even in a non-theistic mode. Let me touch on this. You'll see the power of this. We say this is the conclusion, the philosophic conclusion of the Hindu tradition. It says what you were searching for in the highest heaven as this ultimate reality called God is very visible here and now. You don't have to die to come across him. Here and now, you say, here and now? Where is he? You can call him she, by the way, allowed in Hindu religion. Where is she? Where is he? Don't you see? Look around. See all these human beings. The thing that is staring back at us through all these eyes is the same thing you are searching in the highest heaven. You say, this is too much. This is blasphemy. We are creepy crawlies. We can't be anything like spark of God here, shining out through our eyes. Hindus say, yeah, your essential nature. Is that what you are searching for as God? That is your essential being. Your essential nature is that. People shudder. This is too much. This is esoteric Hinduism. What was there becomes visible as men and women. It becomes visible as the world that we see around us, and the word is Brahman, the ultimate reality manifesting, appearing as the universe, we say is Brahman. In this in this world that we see in front of us, wherever you see a living thing, even a bacteria, the spirit, the thing that's underpinning, the Brahman, is becoming more visible as living things. And this thing continues to become more and more complex. What was something that we call God in the highest heaven becomes most transparently manifested as men and women in front of us. The clearest vision of God, says the Hindu religion, is man and women. Here is your living God in front of you. People shudder. This is called spiritual humanism, in contrast to materialistic humanism that Dawkins is so keen to advocate. It's a matter of time before I take him on and kind of challenge between materialistic humanism that he promotes and the spiritual humanism that is the heart of the Hindu teaching. So the ideas of Atman and Brahman, when you come across in these books, you go, what is that? But you see, we do it in a kind of nice, stylish manner, with colorful stories. Just to give an idea how the same idea can be presented in a very simplistic, very colorful manner. See, we say this whole creation, manifestation of God as everything, including living things and man and women. So this idea is very, very central in the Hindu tradition. With this idea of spiritual humanism, let me again lighten up. We are dealing with primary children and not theologians. So the spiritual humanism, what do you tell a little child? He'll run away from you. So what is all that? A young boy came to Hinduism class, was told, my boy, like it or not, believe it or not, your essential nature is God, Atman. The boy, said, it's a good class. I never realized this is good stuff here, this Hinduism.
Is he going to be going back to his mother? Is this the mother one, the child and mother?
I thought I was a goody-goody. He's telling me I'm God. Things are improving here. Now he's in a different mood. This is what you think. You think this comment is kind of ego-centered, big-headed comment. The little boy thought the same. He said, I'm God. This is good stuff here. He's in a different mood. Goes home in a different mood. Goes in the kitchen. Mommy, Hindu mommy cooking. All mommies cook everywhere. And he picks up the most expensive piece of crockery, waves it in front of his mommy deliberately and drops it. Falls down, breaks into 1,000 pieces. The mommy, a brown Hindu mommy, turns pink first. Then she turns red. She lifts her arm and comes near the boy. And the boy, in an arrogant mood, takes one hand out of his pocket, says, stop. Mommy, stop. Mommy, do you know who I am? Mommy said, first the cheeky fellow comes, breaks bread, then asks him, who am I? Who are you? Mommy, like it or not, believe it or not, I am God. Now, Mommy too, fortunately, had been to the Hinduism classes, and we encouraged them to come. Mommy said, my second question to my boy is, who am I? The boy had learnt his lines well. Said, Mommy, like it or not, believe it or not, you too are God. Mommy said, we are making progress. You are baby God, I am mommy God. There is a third lesson that you not picked up, and it's this. Whenever baby God goes around the house breaking plates, mommy God has to do special extra worship ceremony of the baby God. Now the boy was worried. What ceremony? She has to bring the baby God near, turn him round and smack his bottom. And she mustn't hit too hard and leave a mark, otherwise social service God will come. See, I'm lightening up a very serious principle. What appears as an arrogant comment, in fact, is the most ego-destroying comment. It doesn't raise you, it raises everybody you interact with. And yet the terms of engagement remain the same. When baby God breaks things, mommy God whacks him. Slowly, gently, hopefully. And this doesn't change, and yet we've spiritualized everybody. This is called spiritual humanism. Why is it so crucial? Let me tell you. This is the conclusion of the Hindu religion. The reason why it's crucial and important is this.
Actually, I'm going to pause right there. But yes, this is something you could say that I'm not exactly fully 100% understand what you mean by spiritual humanism, but I do believe in humanity. Obviously, there's great, amazing human beings and there's terrible human beings, but overall I think humanity is good. That's I guess perhaps you could say my belief. My belief. Yeah, I guess that's the right word to say. I believe in humanity. But yes, anyways, at least that's part 1 of Understanding Hinduism for Christians and Muslims. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.